Hello, welcome to my match predictions and run through of UFC 322. It is going to be a great card. Islam Makhachev versus Della, Maddalena. Let's get into it. The first fight on the early prelims at Madison Square Garden is Susurkaev versus McConico. I'm not gonna lie, this fight is just fully should be a can squash. I mean, not to call McConico a can. I mean, he's got 7 finishes and 10 wins. That's pretty solid. But, Susurkaev is just gonna win. You know what I mean? Like, he's a much better striker, much better grappler. He's just better everywhere, I would say. And the UFC is going to be picking, people for him to beat so he can move up and up and up. And McConico is just another step, on the way to the top. And I think Susurkaev is just going to dominate, probably. Next up, we've got an interesting fight. We have the number 12 ranked Angela Hill versus Fatima Kline. This is an interesting one. Hill, she's 12th ranked. She's defending her spot. She's 13-15 in the UFC. Not great. She's 3-3 in the last couple of years. She's really on a decline. While Kline, she's 8-1 in her career. She's 2-1 in the UFC, and her only loss in her whole career is coming to Jasmine Jasudavicius. That's very good. There's a 15-year age gap between the two of them. One's 40, one's 25. I think, just all that. With all that being said, if you also add in that I think Fatima is just kind of better than Angela Hill maybe ever was in her career, I think Fatima Kline should absolutely smoke Angela Hill. Very little contest. And yeah, Kline will be ranked by the end of the weekend. Very shocking. This fight was made while I was recording. I didn't even realize. We have Vyacheslav Borshchev versus Mateus Camilo. That's a very interesting fight. Very good fight. I just off the top of my head, just because I didn't even know this was going to be a fight, I'm going to pick Vyacheslav Borshchev. Not confidently, because Mateus Camilo is very solid, but Borshchev, I feel like, he's just got a bit more power, a bit more oomph, and I think this is a short notice fight. To my awareness, I didn't even realize it was a thing. So, short notice fight, I'll take Borshchev to get the, maybe finish, but to get the win, for sure. Now, this is a bit of an interesting one. We have a rematch. They fought before the UFC, but we have Pat Sabatini and Mariscal. This is an interesting one. Pat I would consider to be a solid UFC fighter. He's beat solid names like Joe Anderson Brito. He's beat Jonathan Pierce. He's lost to Diego Lopez, which, fair. He's also the reigning CFFC BJJ welterweight champion somehow. He fights at 145, so that weight cut is crazy. But and then on the other hand, before the UFC, he's beat people like Yusuf Zalal. In the UFC, he's 5-0 against names like he's beat Jack Jenkins, he's beat Morgan Charriere, he's beat Ricardo Ramos. He beat what's his name, Damon Jackson, who also beat Pat Sabatini. In their first fight, Hepe won. So I think I'm unsure. So Pat Sabatini, he's a better grappler, but I would consider Hepe to be a better overall fighter. So it's a very tough one. I think it will go to decision. But due to the fact that, Hepe won the first fight, Hepe's beat people he's beat people that have beat Pat Sabatini. I'm going to pick Mariscal by decision, but I think it'll be pretty tight decision. Now, we've got old man Gerald Meerschaert fighting Kyle Daukaus. Kyle Daukaus, he's on a 5-fight MMA win streak. His last fight was, when he came back to the UFC and smoked Mikel Pereira, unfortunately. It really hurt my soul watching that. And on the other hand, GM3, he's on a 3-fight losing streak. And honestly, after his last fight, I was calling for him to retire. If he loses this fight, he absolutely should retire. 4-fight losing streak. Holy moly. I'm picking the heavy favorite, Kyle Daukaus. potential sliming incoming because Meerschaert, he's just been getting cooked in his last few, and Daukaus actually looks solid now. Unlike his last time in the UFC, but now he's slimed out one of my favorite guys. He's gonna slime out Meerschaert too, unfortunately. Next up, we have Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cody Haddon. This fight, we got the classic 31-year-old prospect Malcolm Wellmaker. I'm gonna say it, low key, as hyped up as he is, he really does not have a great resume. He beat Cody Simon, who's on a 3-fight losing streak. He beat Chris Mutino. I don't even need to say anything for that. Like, he hasn't beat many great people. He looks like he's a very good boxer, I will say. He looks like a very good boxer. But like, he's beaten cans, essentially. But the thing is that he's fighting Cody Haddon, who, just looking at him, he is basically just Malcolm Wellmaker, but worse at everything. So I'm gonna pick Wellmaker, but like, this is one of those fights where he should win pretty handedly, even if / when he wins handedly. I might not. I don't think I'll be fully sold on him yet because he hasn't beaten any. Like, the best name if he wins this would be Cody Haddon, which isn't a great name. But if he wins this, I expect him to get a jump up in fights. I mean, he's rumored to fight. I think it was Nurmagomedov, which would have been real good, but he didn't get that fight. Maybe book it. After this, we'll see. But I'm picking Malcolm Wellmaker certainly to win by probably knockout. Now, we have the number 4 ranked Erin Blanchfield versus the number 9th ranked Tracy Cortez. This will be a pretty solid matchup. Erin Blanchfield, she's had a very impressive career so far. She's beaten everyone in her path, barring Manon Fiorot, but Manon Fiorot has also beaten everyone but the champ, so that's really not a bad loss to have on your record. But she's beaten Rose Namajunas, she's beaten Jessica Andrade, JJ Aldrich, so on and so forth. She's just been beating everybody, and for the most part, pretty confidently. And on the other hand, we have Tracy Cortez, who she's also had a pretty solid run. She's beaten everybody except for Rose, who Erin has beat. She's beaten, for example, like Araujo. She's beaten Jasmine. She's got good names. They actually fought before they were both in the UFC back in 2019. Tracy got the split decision, so Tracy has, the leg up on her. However, Erin Blanchfield, since that fight, has progressed a lot more than Tracy has, I would say. I think Erin Blanchfield will get that get back, tie up that series 1-1. Maybe down the road we'll see a trilogy fight. Who knows? But I think Erin Blanchfield will get the job done and maybe be looking for a title shot or a number 1 contenders fight. But either way, I think Blanchfield will be going up. Next up, we have Roman Kopylov, who's number 15 ranked, versus Gregory Robocop Rodrigues. This will be a fun fight. 2 pretty good strikers, I would say. But while that's being said, I will also say, similar to Malcolm Wellmaker I was saying earlier, Roman Kopylov is just overrated. He is just overrated, I'm sorry. The only good name Roman Kopylov has beat is Chris Curtis, and that was a bad stoppage. There was 1 second left in the fight. You could have just let it go on. And Chris Curtis could have won that fight by decision. So his best win has an asterisk on it. It's not even like a solid win. It was just like, the ref stopped it with 1 second left. And it was just Curtis trying to stand up. It was so bad. I do not like this. I do not like this fight. Or I don't like that fight, sorry. While on the other hand, Gregory Rodrigues has a much better resume. He's beat Jack Hermanson. He's beat Christian Leroy Duncan, who just got a fucking sliming last weekend. He's beat Brad Tavares. He's beat the Iron Turtle. He's beaten so many solid names. While Kopylov has beaten very few people. Really, very few people. And he got he got smoked in his last fight to Paulo Costa. He's just not. I think he's good. I think he is good, but I don't think he's that good. And I think it's kind of crazy also. Gregor Rodrigues, he is sneaky young, considering he looks like a 40-year-old man. He's younger than Roman Kopylov. He's younger? That's crazy. I think I feel so confident in this. I think that Gregor Rodrigues will win this by either a mid to late TKO or a decision. I'm so confident that he wins this fight. Maybe he won't, but I feel it so confidently. I think it will happen. So I'm going to pick Gregor Rodrigues to get the win. And currently being listed as the feature prelim, it was originally on the main card, somehow. We have Bo Nickal versus Rodolfo Vieira. It's actually, a interesting fight. Bo Nickal, I do not like him really, but I will admit he's a very solid, young, raw prospect. Potential fraud, though, considering his fight style base. American wrestling recently especially has, seemingly not been great. Especially, like, with Bo Nickal's fights, he's not that... We haven't seen a lot from him, especially his striking has been bad. He went to decision with Paul Craig, who... I love Paul Craig. But that was such a bad fight, bad performance from Bo Nickal. It was a 30-27. It didn't feel like either of them should have won necessarily, though. Like, it was just, like, the better of two bad options. And then he got smoked by Renier Ritter, which that loss is not looking so good right now. On the other hand, we got Rodolfo Vieira. He's a pretty solid ground threat, similar to Paul Craig with his grappling and, his grappling from the bottom especially. He's got good triangles and whatnot. So I do wonder if Bo Nickal's going to implement a similar game plan to what he did with Paul Craig, where he just kind of stands and makes it look like a horrible fight. I really do wonder if that will be the game plan. Because that would be so bad for Bo Nickal's resume if he just, inches out. Like, if he just edges out a win again. That would be so bad. So, basically, what I'm saying is, if it stays standing, Bo he might win, just because the judges will give it to him. If he starts trying to wrestle, though, I think Rodolfo Vieira definitely, he could win that fight. It's closer than people are saying it's going to be, probably. I think it will, however, go to decision. And I think the judges, regardless of who actually won the fight, the judges are going to give it to Bo Nickal. So, I think Bo Nickal will win this fight and then probably he'll call out fucking, I want Kamzat. What the fuck? Now, on the main card, we have the number 9 Beneil Dariush versus the number 13 Benoit Saint-Denis. This fight scares me so badly. If you guys don't know, I'm a huge Beneil Dariush fan. And I'm scared for this fight. I'm so scared. Beneil, he's in a very weird spot. Honestly, his whole career is kind of a weird spot. He was on a long streak of 8 wins and then lost back-to-back against 2 top guys in Charles and Arman. And then he cooked Renato Moicano. He's just up and up and up, and then he was down, and then he's up again. However, he's fighting a fucking monster. He's fighting Benoit Saint-Denis. All of his 7 wins in the UFC are by finish. He's got 3 knockouts. He's got 4 subs. Oh, no. He's got solid names. He's beaten Rufi, which we'll see how that ages. He's beaten Frivola, which has not aged well at all. And he's beaten Bonfim, which also, if you saw last weekend, really isn't aging super well. But it's still, solid talent. But this fight, I'm so scared. Beneil's got solid wrestling. And Benoit, he's got a bit unproven wrestling overall, just due to his opponents. But I still do think Benoit is comparable, if not better. The grappling, I would probably give to Benoit. The striking, I would probably maybe give to Benoit at this point, too. this is very frightening. I'm unfortunately going to pick Benoit Saint-Denis to win. That's me picking with my brain, because if I was picking with my heart, I'd be picking Beneil all day. But I do not. This is a scary one. Beneil, I'm praying for you, brother. I hope you make it out. Unfortunately, I don't think you will. I think Benoit wins this. Now, we've got a very, very fun fight, which I don't know. I have no idea where this is going to go. We got the number 4 ranked welterweight, Leon Edwards. We got the number 9 ranked welterweight, Carlos Prates. We got the former champ, former 11-fight undefeated streak, turned 2-fight losing streak to Belal Muhammad and Sean Brady, who we'll talk about in a bit. So he's on a bit of a decline, and he's fighting Carlos Prates, who, barring one fight, has pretty much just had non-stop momentum through his career. And even in his loss to Ian Gary, he still won the last round or two and almost finished him. So, like, even in his losses, he's looked pretty good. And he's also just coming off of one of the best knockouts ever, maybe, over Jeff Neal, who is, I mean, before that fight, nobody could knock him out. Well, people can knock him out now. Carlos Prates. Leon Edwards, I'm very unsure. I mean, in his career, he's been a solid kickboxer, but I don't know if he's a bit regressing now. I mean, I don't know. Carlos Prates, I think, is a better striker, probably, than Leon Edwards. At least he's certainly a more powerful striker. He might be a better technical striker. I'm not sure. We'll see as of Saturday what'll happen. Grappling-wise, I don't think it's going to be much grappling much at all. If anything, Leon has the edge, but I don't think he'll implement it much. I think it'll just be pretty much just a striking battle, and it'll either go to decision or it'll be a knockout for Prates. I don't think Leon's going to get a knockout over Prates. I think it'll either be a knockout from Prates or a decision, which could go either way, but I'd say if it goes to decision, it'll be Leon. However, I think it'll be a knockout. I think Prates is going to implement himself in around the top 5. Leon's going to continue to drop a little bit and maybe fight Ian Gary in his next fight. If he might fight Ian Gary, which also he could lose that fight too, which would be very unfortunate because I actually do like Leon. A lot of people don't like him. I think he's alright. He's cool. But yeah, I think Carlos Prates is going to get a knockout. Probably. Maybe. Maybe he'll get a knockout. But I think he'll win that fight. Unfortunately. Oh. In the featured fight, we have another welterweight fight. We got the number 2, Sean Brady, and the number 8, Michael Morales. This will be... To me, honestly, this kind of seems like I haven't fought in a while. Let me just get a fight. I think Sean Brady will... I feel like he'll just handedly win. Like, Michael Morales, he is good, and he beat Gilbert Burns. But that's like... Apart from beating Gilbert Burns, I don't really... He's been good, but not great, I feel. While Sean Brady, he beat Leon Edwards dominantly. He beat Leon Edwards more dominantly than Usman almost beat him. He's beat him more dominantly than Belal Muhammad did beat him for the title. So, I think Sean Brady is just like a step up in welterweight. And I think that after he beats Michael Morales, depending on who wins the title the same night, he could call for a title shot completely. And we'll see if he does. Who knows? Maybe he'll call out, like if Leon Edwards win. No, he beat. Just let him slime out Leon again. I don't know. But I think Sean Brady wins this. I'm not sure how. He could get it done anyway. Honestly, I could see it anyway. But I'm just going to say by decision. And yeah, Sean Brady wins. Now, we have the first of 2 title fights. We have Valentina Shevchenko defending her flyweight belt against Zhang Weili. This is a very fun fight. Right now, the odds have it Zhang being the underdog, which is quite interesting. Valentina, she's the defending flyweight champion, and to be fair, she's the GOAT of her division. Her record in it is 11-1-1. And those ones are against Alexa Grasso, who she's 1-1-1 against. So if you take away Alexa Grasso, she's 10-0. She's real good. She's real good. She's beaten all other competition pretty handily, honestly. I mean, she's just smoked basically everybody in the division. But you have Zhang Weili, who's the former strawweight champion, had to vacate for some reason to have this fight. But whatever. She's 10-2 in the UFC. And at strawweight, her only 2 losses are to Rose, and one of them I would say is debatable. I would say at this point in time, currently, I would say that Zhang Weili is a better striker, but the difference is 10 pounds in weight. Will that make a big difference? It might. We've seen it many times before, people going up to a different weight class and it just not working out very well. So, Valentina is much more comfortable at this weight, but Zhang, I would say, is overall a better striker and a more powerful striker at this point in her career. Maybe, prime for prime, I would pick Valentina, but just due to getting up there in age, I'm going to take Zhang Weili, the underdog, to get the belt in the new weight class. I think it'll be close. It'll be very close. It could go to decision, but it might be a finish. I don't know. I think Zhang gets it done, though, and that'd be I'm really excited for this fight. Valentina, her last fight wasn't great against Manon, but, Zhang Weili, she has fun fights. So, I want to pick Zhang Weili to get a fight done, get the new belt, implement herself as one of the greatest of all time, honestly. Yeah, Zhang Weili. And last, but certainly not least, we have one of the best fights of the UFC calendar year. We got Della Maddalena, the welterweight champion, versus the welterweight debutante, Islam Makhachev, the top pound-for-pound man, the former lightweight champion. Oh my god, he's so good. He's on a 15-fight win streak. Oh my god. JDM, he's on an 18-fight win streak, with 8 of those being in the UFC. 8-fight win streak in the UFC. Oh my god, it's just one of the best, apart from, Ilya Charles or Ilya Islam, this is one of the best fights I think you could have. It's just so, I'm geeking just thinking about it, So let's get into it. Islam Makhachev, we know what we got in him. He's just one of the greatest of all time, really. His wrestling, his grappling, underrated striking. I don't know, people don't talk about it a lot because they talk about, he's Khabib's friend. He's got very solid striking, He knocked out Volkanovski. Enough said. There's an asterisk bit of it, but still. He has underrated striking. He also has some of the best grappling in the UFC, some of the best wrestling in the UFC. But Della Maddalena, he's got weirdly good takedown defense. He just is so unorthodox with his head blocking into a takedown defense. He's a very odd fighter to watch, but he's just so good. He also is I would say probably one of the best boxers in the UFC. So he's got better striking than Islam, confidently, and he's got sneaky good takedown defense. I think he can keep the fight standing, and that's where Islam does not want this fight. It really just comes down to a few things. Can Islam implement his wrestling? And if he can implement his wrestling, how will JDM's, he's been training with top BJJ practitioners like a Craig Jones, for example. Can that negate Islam's superb grappling? And also the difference so it just depends on, can Islam take him down? Can Islam get his work done on the ground? Or can Jack, negate that? And 3, if he can't take him down, how big is the striking difference? Who knows? Jack is better, but how much better? Can he finish Islam? I don't know. It's interesting. Also, Islam, it's been documented how kind of rough his weight cut has been. gain from 155 to 170. And he looks good now. I don't really know, like, it's 15 pounds, and Islam generally has, like, gone up in weight anyway, so it's not, like, looked that bad to me. But it is still going up 15 pounds, going up to another weight class. That is tough. That is very tough. It's a very tough fight. I don't know who's going to win this. I think it'll be very close. You know what? I'm going to pick the underdog. I'm going to pick Jack Della Maddalena to defend his title. I might be hating on the king of the pound-for-pound list, because if Islam wins this, he is one. He is first on that list. But I just think that Jack will be able to defend the takedowns. I think he's big enough to not get bullied by Islam. And I think that boxing, I think he's going to crack Islam in this fight. I don't know if he'll get a knockout. He might, though. He might get a finish. Who knows? It'll be very close, and I think Jack's going to get it done. But boy, oh boy, it's going to be a great fight. Anyways, that's all from me. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, comment. If you think that was a horrible takes, just give a comment. Maybe give a follow. Who knows? But thank you for watching. I am B Mills MMA. That was my UFC 322 predictions. Thank you and peace.